Hello, this is Scott with Full Circle Community Farm, and it's a rainy day here, and I'm working inside the greenhouse getting caught up on some projects. Showing you a little video here. This is a farm hack on how you can make these carrying racks for multiple trays of plants. This makes it really easy for two people to transport up to 7 trays of plants all at once. This is our heated greenhouse. This is where all of our plants get started. And then after they're old enough, we transition them outside to our caterpillar tunnel. That larger one, beyond this first one, we do have irrigation in there. And you can see we do have all of our plants on racks. So let's get started. Some of the things that you're going to need to make these racks is an old pallet. Most farms are going to have some old pallets laying around. And you can see what I did here is I just took the hand saw and I just cut the strips of wood out of the pallet. And what I was left with was these. What I did next is I took my measuring tape and I made some lines on these pieces of wood, and they're 7 inches apart. Depending on the type of trays that you most commonly use, you might want to adjust that width. Most of the trays that we use are 72 cell trays, and so if you take a look here, this is not the best example, but if you take a look here and you measure this on a flat surface, you can get a measurement. So this is a 50 cell tray, and you'd want to make it different than 7 inches. It looks like you might want to go with a 8-inch spread on this so that the rack would lay on there nice and flat. Alright, so what you're going to need for supplies is you're going to need some EMT coupling. There's a couple different varieties out there. In years past, we were using this type of coupling. It's called a compression coupling. I found that the problem I have with this is a couple times throughout the season I'm having to go back with a couple of wrenches and tighten this up. So I found these at my local hardware store, and I'm hoping this isn't something that I'm going to have to do maintenance on throughout the season. Essentially what it is you're just going to put your 2 pieces of conduit inside of here, and then you're going to screw these down and that'll hold them in place. So that's your coupling. You're also going to need 2-inch hole straps. The 2-inch hole straps is what's going to join your conduit to your boards that you cut out. What I have found is that the 1/2-inch conduit is the most inexpensive price. Here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, I can get a 10-foot section of conduit for about $5.50. So since you're getting a 1/2-inch conduit, make sure that your hole straps and your coupling are also 1/2-inch so that everything fits nice. For screws, I've got 1/2-inch wood screws, and that's pretty much the perfect length so that the screw doesn't go through your board from the pallet. You don't want it poking out on the other side. So one way that we make our carrying racks is that we want to make sure that we're getting the most bang for our buck. And what I mean by that is the conduit pieces do come in 10-foot lengths. And rather than cutting that 10-foot length into a 7-foot long piece, you're going to end up with a 3-foot long piece of conduit. And what do you do with that? If you want a pile of 3-foot conduits laying around for something, I'm sure you can find a use for it. But we want to make sure that we're using the entire conduit. So the best way that we figured out is that we want ultimately a 7-foot long piece of conduit. So we'll take, we'll crunch the numbers, do the math, but we'll end up cutting a couple of 10-foot sections into 2-foot long pieces, and then we'll cut the remainder into 5-foot long pieces, excuse me. And then what you'll do is you'll join that 5-foot piece together with that 2-foot piece, and that will give you your 7-foot long carrying rack. Why 7 feet, you may ask? We found that making it much bigger than that in carrying more than 7 trays, as you know, a tray full of wet potting soil, that gets pretty heavy. So the sweet spot we've found is 7 trays per rack, and then you're not really worrying about the carrying rack breaking on you and it being able to support the wear and tear of a season's worth of growing. So that is what we do here. That's a pretty quick, cheap and easy way of making some carrying racks, and that's going to save yourself a lot of time versus having to carry everything two at once. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And full disclosure, this is not our original idea. We did come up with this at a farming conference that we went to, but we found that this is a really fantastic idea, fairly inexpensive, works great for us. All right, have a great day.